What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host, Edward. What is up, Edward?
Not bad.
What's up? Not much, man. I see you got the bye week background. Steelers were on a bye week and on week 5 of the NFL. Man, what is your
It's the
thoughts on what happened?
beginning of, I guess, the NFL claims the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. Maybe we're just taking a week off.
I mean, you guys do have a lot of Hispanic fans and international fans around the world. But yeah, man. What is your thoughts on week 5? What are your takeaways from week 5? What stood out to you?
I wouldn't really say stood out. I just noticed week five, a lot of very unpredictable. A lot of things we didn't expect to happen happened.
Week
We
5, what? Yeah,
we no longer have any unbeaten teams.
there's no more unbeaten teams. No more unbeaten
Only
teams.
and there's only one losing team left in the NFL that hasn't won a game, and that's the New York Jets.
Okay, I thought everybody won the game. I thought everybody has won a game, but I guess not. Yeah, man. Week 5 was electric. Some of the matches kind of looked like they were gonna be bad, but the 4 o'clock games were for sure better than the 1 o'clock games. But let's jump right into it, man. We're gonna talk about a few teams that, man, they something needs to happen, or things need to change, or I don't know. But we're gonna start with the Baltimore Ravens. What is happening to the Baltimore Ravens? Now, I understand they didn't have Lamar Jackson. They have a few players that are hurt. They did get Kyle Van Noy back. And since we live in the DMV area, you know, we kind of see a little bit more. We hear a little bit more. But man, what is happening to the Baltimore Ravens? They lost 44-10 to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are looking better now. But in Baltimore, man, the Texans went to the bank and just robbed them and took everything from them. Man, it's not looking good for Baltimore, for the Ravens fans. They left, I think, in the second
we,
quarter. Out of the stadium
we
looked empty.
we live in the DMV, but like I've never heard of M&T Bank Stadium ever called the bank.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good. I mean, you did some Ravens fans call it the bank,
I
I guess.
mean, I guess like they're celebrating 30 years, but 30 years of their franchise. I've never heard it called to the bank, but I know the Eagles. They got Lincoln Financial Field. They call it the Link, but
Yeah,
to my knowledge, I never heard it called the
the
bank. But
bank.
I mean, maybe I could just like maybe this is all got something in their face. Their problems. I got a problem with it, but
I mean,
yeah.
obviously, you as a Steelers fan, you're okay with the Ravens, you know, being 1-4, and you guys are 3-1, especially in the bye week. But like, unbiased opinion, like, what is happening to the Baltimore Ravens? They were second favorites to win the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, before the season started, and they do not look good. I think this is the third game or fifth game that the defense has allowed 30 points or more. Um,
I mean,
yeah, this is literally 5 games in a row the defense let has let the opposing team 30 points or more. That is that is not good.
yeah, all bias aside, I really don't know what is going on with the Ravens. It's just, yeah, they had that the first game of the week where they lost to Buffalo. Yeah, even in that loss, I think a lot of people didn't realize like how glaring it is that like, their defense is giving up so many points.
Uh-huh.
But then, like as the weeks kept progressing, like they have a lot of guys going down, and I think that's really affecting like their whole season.
Hmm.
But I know a lot of smoke and ire has been directed towards John Harbaugh, but it's kind of weird because I remember it was kind of like last year the Detroit Lions. They had like 8 guys on defense who were injured, but
Basically, the whole defense was hurt, and they were just bringing guys off the couch. And
yeah, but some people are saying like maybe John Harbaugh doesn't deserve it, but like I can understand why like all that I guess all that smoke is kind of like being sent his way because John Harbaugh has been in the league long enough that like specific coaches they can like coach or they can coach around their deficiencies and translate into winning football. Look at the Detroit Lions last year, and you can kind of like say that's a testament to like the culture NCDC's set. But you always hear things about like play like a Raven and like that stuff. Kind of like there was like a foundation set when they had the Terrell Suggs, the Ray Lewises, the Ed Reeds, and all.
They're not.
all
They're known for their defense. They're known having a really strong defense, and
but
this is not
yeah, it's
looking like that.
crazy. It's like they're celebrating like the 30th anniversary of their franchise. It's just like they've. I think the actual like diehard fans are feeling like they got away from like that culture, that ethos. That this isn't the Ravens football that like you grew up on or like you're accustomed to.
Or even last season, how they were playing. Derrick Henry was having a good season, and then obviously Lamar was an MVP race. Didn't win. They didn't have Lamar in this game. Cooper Rush or Cooper Cush started this game. He had 3 picks. Oh man, the Houston defense really stepped up. Yeah, I mean, they do not look good. I mean, when you have Derrick Henry with 33 total yards rushing, I mean, he did score, but 33, 15 carries and 33 yards of rushing, like you got Derrick Henry, you're gonna have to run the ball a little bit more. I get it, you have Cooper Rush, but you're gonna have to give him the ball a little bit more. He
Yeah,
needs to have more. He needs to have more carries. Only 15 carries for 33 yards. Like,
that's also another thing with the Ravens. Like I see like they're giving the ball to like Ricard and Justice Hill, but like I don't know if Derrick Henry's fumbling might like I don't know if that has something to do with like
but you
his
ha-
production or like
but
his
but
snap count.
But it shouldn't even matter. He's Derrick Henry, and the season he had last year. I mean, obviously he has the fumbles situation, but you got to give him the ball. You don't have Lamar. Derrick Henry is probably one of your best players that you got on the field. I get that you don't. They have a lot of injuries, and they don't have Lamar, but you got to give the ball to Derrick Henry.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Todd Monken's getting like a little conservative with his play calling, but the thing is like when Lamar and Derrick are on the field, they're kind of like a 1-2 punch running the ball.
Yeah.
Like, say if Lamar was playing, I still don't really think the Ravens would have won this game. They probably would have kept it closer, but I still
It
don't
would have
think they
been close.
really.
It could have been a little bit closer, but still, man, like it does not look good. Obviously, we hear it closer because we live around the area, but man, but on the other side, the Texans 2 game winning streak. I think they're on a bye or no, they're going. I think they're in a bye next week, but but they look good, man. CJ Stroud 23 for 27, 244, threw for 4 touchdowns. Um. Nick Chubb, 11 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. They're looking good. Their defense, they look good. Like I said, they picked off Cooper Rush 3 times. What's your thoughts on the Texans coming back? Because there was a lot of noise before they were 0-3. Now they've won 2 games in a row.
Yeah, you're right. They do have a bye coming, but let me get my computer back right. Like the Texans, it took a while for them to kind of like get their groove, but they're still kind of finding their way. Their their first game was against the Rams, and it just didn't look good. But
The Rams are a
against
good
the
team.
Buck, yeah, against the Bucks and the Jags, they were in position to win those games, but both those teams kind of like found a way to
Three
win at the
Three
last.
very good teams, though. 3 very good teams. The Rams, a
Mhm.
really good team. The Bucks, a really good team. The Jags, I think the Jaguars, while we're recording this, this is probably the best opponent they're gonna face is the Chiefs. So we're really gonna see what the Jaguars are about. But still, 3 very good teams that they played against, and they lost those 3 games. But we're kind of seeing like CJ Stroud's going back to his rookie season. Obviously, last year was a sophomore slump, but he looks good. Like I said, threw 4 touchdowns. Then obviously the game got away,
Still made the
and
playoffs last year, even during that sophomore slump. But yeah, I know they kind of got yeah they beat the Chargers and then they lost to the Chiefs in that playoff matchup. But even in that Chargers game, you can still kind of see like CJ was still making it work with like less parts around him, and I think this bye week actually could help them. And I think their whole problem is their offense. I just think they need to like maybe establish more chemistry. They can probably do that in the bye week. Like they're I think their record's also kind of like overshadowing like what their defense is doing. I think they have like the number one scoring defense in the NFL too.
Maybe
Don't quote me accurately on that, but I
that
know
or
their
the Colts. Or
defense.
maybe them or the
Yeah,
Colts.
but like their defense, they can play. They're
Yeah,
getting the job done.
yeah,
Albeit it was Cooper Rush. I think they had like 3 picks, but
yeah. 3 picks. Yeah, they picked them off three
any
times.
any given Sunday, that defense they can step up. They can step up to the challenge.
And like I said, it was in Baltimore, but yeah, it's a lot to be concerned about. With Baltimore, I know they have a game. Who do they have next week? They have a game and then they have a bye. So there could be a situation where if Lamar is not 100%,
I think
it
next
can.
week don't they play the Rams?
Oh yeah, yeah, they play the Rams. They play the Rams. So I don't know. We'll see what happens because after that they have a bye. So it could be 2 weeks of Lamar resting and then coming back for the game that they have against. Let me see who they have after that. They have the Bears, which the Bears are looking good offensively now. So we'll see if Lamar comes back against the Rams. Like I said, another home game for them, 1 o'clock. But we'll see, man. Another team that we another game that was really good was the Broncos versus Eagles. And I think there should be some concerns for Eagles fans. Like I think we even said last game, like even though the Eagles were winning, they haven't looked good offensively. Their defense and their special teams has been carrying them and really stepping up. But they took on the Broncos. Broncos won 21-17, and the Broncos were down 14 in the fourth quarter and came back to win the game.
I think
Um,
you can kind of make that case for honestly their entire season because
yeah, the whole season, every single the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
season.
because even going back to the first game of the season, weren't they only winning game? Didn't they win that game just off of Jalen Hurts running the ball?
Yeah, and it was against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys gave them a game, and that gets that defense.
Yeah, I think like I guess we kind of like gloss over the fact that they've been winning games, but and also like that special teams play. But I think
Winning
like we're
covers
kind
everything. Winning
yeah,
covers
yeah, yeah.
everything.
But like the last 2 weeks, kind of like now we've kind of like seen like their offensive deficiencies now. Now that they finally lost, it's kind of like yeah, it's kind of biting them in the ass. Like they've had very close games where like as the defending champions, maybe you'd probably expect more and like maybe more productive offense, especially with that number one historic offensive line.
Now,
But
did they change the offensive coordinator? Right?
yeah, he goes by the name of Kevin Patullo, and his in the city of brotherly love. A lot of the Philadelphia is not showing him love right now. He is public enemy number one.
Yeah, and I even told you last like pod, like when we were talking about it, like I asked you, like, was it gonna be sustainable for them, like Saquon not rushing what he did last year? Obviously, was an incredible season, but not getting the yards that he got last year. Look, he only carried the ball 6 times for 30 yards. I think there's gonna be need a point where the Eagles they need to make a change offensive like the play call. They're gonna have to give the ball to Saquon. What got them to the Super Bowl? What the incredible season they had was Saquon. Saquon was the offense, and then I obviously opened up the offense a little bit more with Devontae, AJ Brown, Goddard, and obviously they had Jahan Dotson. But like I feel like the offense was running really well with Saquon running the ball, and
Yeah, I know he had that touchdown in the game where like he kind of like splits out wide and like
yeah,
Jalen just finds him on the deep ball, but I think like that's not really consistent for them. Like it's not just
no,
like like last year they were very effective running the ball, but I think they're trying to establish an identity passing the ball. When you look
but
at, I guess when you kind of like look at the plays, like all of Jalen's deep balls are just going
like
and things like
Devontae.
it's like they really don't have much. They really don't have much like passing the ball. Like it's kind of weird. The defending champions are looking a little one dimensional on offense.
But their identity was run the ball, either with Jalen or with Saquon. I feel like they need to go to that a little
Yeah,
bit more
Jalen.
towards.
Yeah,
So
Jalen.
maybe
I think he only had like.
Jalen only had 3 yards, 2 carries, and 3 yards rushing.
Mhm.
And I don't think there was no tush push or anything. I didn't see any
No, no, no,
no
no,
tush
no.
push at all in this game. I mean, either Sirianni takes control over the offense and they need to figure something out because Like I said, I feel like they gotta run the ball a little bit more. Just like I said about the Ravens, they have Barkley. You gotta run the ball a lot more. And obviously they were playing against the Broncos. With the Broncos, their defense is really good with the linebacker, Nick Bonito, and then you have Sertan. Um, man, the Broncos they came back and won that game. Bo Nix, he looked good. 24 for 39, threw for 242. Um,
Yeah, I think the Broncos just came to play. They came to their house and just took what was theirs. But it's like it's kind of crazy because I think that last play of the game, I think Zach Bond gets a penalty, and I think that
oh man, that
that
roughing,
definitely that cost the Eagles the game when they were in position to win.
like they were at home and they were leading the lead in that game, right? At that point, right? That
I think, yeah, I think so, and that's what
roughing.
made the that's what made Broncos advance a lot further. They
Yeah, and then
get the
Sean
win.
Payne, yeah, Sean Payne didn't have the guts to go for it on that 2 point conversion, and they took the lead there.
Yeah, before there were Dan Campbell's, Sean Payton was kind of known as like the original gambler. He kind of like made a name for himself in that Super Bowl,
Hmm.
starting the half with that onside kick.
Yeah, man,
But
but
it wasn't just also the Zach Bond play. I think also the Eagles had the final possession. I guess they tried for the Hail Mary, and Jalen almost finds Devontae. Like the
it was
ball really
Devontae.
like it gets right in his hands, but I think AJ kind of collided and accidentally. I think it was just instinct, but I think they collided and kind of like swatted his ball by accident. It was
I'm,
right in Devontae's hands.
I mean, he did want the ball right after when he posted his stuff, and like we did mention like maybe he was gonna get over 100 yards, but he didn't. He only had 5 catch, 43 yards. Devontae was the one that had over 100 yards. Um, but yeah, man, I think they should be worried in Philadelphia. I think, like you said, the fans are not happy. I mean, you can never keep them happy. They're always mad
You
about
know,
something. They always got an
not
issue with something.
not to mention they got a short week too. They play Thursday night against the New York Giants.
The Giants, yeah, and look what happened to the Giants. We'll talk about it real quick, man. The Giants gave the Saints their first win of the season.
Another
Yeah,
unpredictable game. Like the
yeah,
Saints, the Giants, they were just coming off their win last week, and the Saints had no wins. I think the Giants were maybe for the first time this season heavily favored in that matchup. And back to what I said about unpredictability, look what happened.
and not only the Saints won the first game, Spencer Rattler also won his first game as an NFL quarterback. I think he was like 0-10 as an NFL quarterback, and this was his first game that he won. Like I said, congrats to the Saints. It's been a rough couple of years for them. Jackson Dart threw 2 picks. He did not look good. Obviously the Saints defense are, they're good. They're good. But yeah, man, the Saints won that game. Obviously they're one of the few teams that were haven't didn't win a game, and now they won a game. But yeah, man, let's move on to this game, man. This game was electric. Um, Two quarterbacks that were in Carolina together. Two quarterbacks
Not to
that
mention not to mention two of the top three picks of the 2018 NFL Draft.
two quarterbacks that were also kind of like teams gave up on them or something like that, and they finally found a home in both places. Man, the Bucks took on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Man, talk to me about Baker Mayfield, man. Talk to me about Baker. I think we spoke a little bit of last week, but man, talk to me about Baker Mayfield and right. I
I
think right
mean,
now, I think right now, I think he's favored to win MVP. They have two players that can win awards: Baker Mayfield MVP and
he's in the
Mbuka for Rookie of the Year.
he's in the conversation. I don't necessarily have his stats in front of me, but I think maybe Dak Prescott's been leading the MVP based just off his stats alone, not like the Cowboys stats.
I
Like
would
I'm
kind of lean
clarifying. I'm
towards.
just gonna clarify that before I saw the way you reacted. Let me clarify that.
Yeah, but I mean, I would put Baker, man. I mean, Baker had led another. I think this was his fourth game-winning drive of the season. Obviously, they had the game against the Eagles, at which I think they should have won that game, but they didn't have Bucky
Yeah,
Irvin. They didn't have Bucky Irvin. They still don't have Mike Evans. But man, the incredible season that Baker's having, man.
that's been like the story of the Panthers for like the last 3 weeks. I think all their games have come down to the wire.
Yeah, man. But like also on the other side, the Seahawks also look good. Sam Darnold, obviously, what is happening in Minnesota and everything that they talked about with him, obviously with the Jets and everything that happened over the years. But he found a home in Seattle, man. 28 for 34, 300, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. He threw the pick towards the end of the game, which he probably shouldn't have done that. He made a mistake there, cost us the game, and then it gave the Bucks the chance to win the game with a field goal, game-winning field goal. But man, this game was electric. Two Ohio State wide receivers that had an incredible game: Jackson Smith and Jigba and Mbuka. Man,
Wait,
Jackson Smith and Jigba had over 100. He had 132 yards, 1 touchdown, and then Mbuka had 163 yards and a touchdown.
who would have guessed the matchup of like the probably like the best throwback jerseys from each team would have been like
Oh
the
man,
game really was the game of the week and the
game
giant
of the week.
shootout.
Maybe the game of the season, man. But yeah, those jerseys, those throwback jerseys look beautiful in that game. Obviously, those two that crimsicle jersey for the Bucks, and then throwback. I do like that Seattle jersey. I feel like those two jerseys need to be constantly worn over the season, and even
Kind of
next
gives like
season.
it has that '90s throwback, but
Yeah,
it's funny like both these teams are in the. It's very early in the season, but both these teams in the NFC. I think maybe this can be the maybe this won't be the last time they see each other. This could probably be a potential playoff matchup if their current records hold up.
yeah. I mean, but I still see Seattle like Seattle can make the playoffs because even them like. Let me see what theirs. The Niners, they're 4-1. Like the NFC West could be one of the. It's a tough division. Maybe all three of them can make the playoffs. The Niners, Seahawks, and Rams, and they're all three really good teams. The Cardinals, well, they look good in the beginning. Now they're kind of.
Yeah, that's another NFC West team I kind of wanted to talk about. It's just
Yeah.
like that had to be one of the most lopsided games. Like any way you spin it, it was kind of like a lopsided loss for the Cardinals. It was still sort of a lopsided win for Tennessee. So
Which got their first win. Another team that got their first win, Cam Ward.
like you can't necessarily say like yes, the Titans they won the game, but I think also the Cardinals somewhat lost the game, especially in like that final moment. Like I said, it was this whole week had like a lot of unpredictability. Like Cam Ward throws an interception, then it gets fumbled, and then it gets recovered in the end zone.
and then
Like
talk
that whole game just had like a complete series of unfortunate events.
and then talk to me about DeMarcado.
Yeah, he had that.
72
We've had
yard.
we've had we've had back to back weeks. Guys cannot control the ball as soon as their foot touches the chalk to the
I
end
mean,
zone.
I mean, you would think you would learn from last week. You seen Adrian Mitchell doing that, and I get you're excited. Obviously you're about to score an incredible touchdown, but it's a little too early to celebrate that touchdown.
That angle though, it did look like
You can't.
DeMarcado made the got the touchdown, but I guess what kind of like I guess he
There's
lost
not.
possession of the ball once he crossed the end zone, but he also only had 1 foot in the end zone and 1 foot out as the ball was going down. So
Mm,
I guess that counts as a fumble since he didn't possess it and didn't have the presence of mind to like pay attention to his feet.
and then his coach just coach talking to him, and yeah,
Yeah, Jonathan Gannon's a very he kind of comes off as a kind of a quiet guy. I still remember his introductory press conference, but he was definitely living with him on the sidelines with what he did.
yeah, man. But yeah, the Titans have won a game. But yeah, let's talk about the game that it's kind of. It was a game where I'm just like, it was about
Who were you a fan? Who were you a fan of that weekend?
that game. I was it was tough for me to root for anybody from the rare occasions that these both of my teams play against each other. It's very rare they do, but yeah, the Commanders took on the Chargers, and yeah, it was tough for me I was watching the game. I wasn't celebrating either one scoring because it's like okay, they scored, but then they're losing, so it was pretty tough, man. But it was Jayden Daniel's homecoming game back home in California. It looked good in the beginning for the Chargers. Like they were up 10-0, and they look very good. But man, I think this should be concerns for the Chargers, man. Their offensive line cannot protect Justin Herbert. I'm gonna give you a stat. In the last 3 weeks, the Chargers 27 penalties for 217 yards, six total turnovers, 17 sacks allowed, 35 QB hits allowed, 81 pressures allowed.
Now,
The
as alarming as that sounds, do you think I you were really riding high when the Chargers went started the season 3-0? Yeah, they kind of had that little weird game with the Giants. Now they kind of like did to the Commanders, and as we just learned a few hours ago, Omar Hampton's been placed in IR.
We'll miss four
So,
games. So we lost two of our backs. Obviously Najee with his the torn Achilles, and then Amari Hampton he's out for at least 4 weeks. I mean, and then you have the O line just falling apart, and then you have Mikhail Becton. He was in and out of the game. Um,
I mean,
everybody
you were
just switching.
you
Go
were
ahead, go
pounding the
ahead.
drum because of like who their coach was with Jim Harbaugh and all that. Now, I kind of did bring up that the good coaches can kind of navigate their way around this, but your schedule coming up, you guys got to go to Miami to the Dolphins, then you got the Colts, then you got the Vikings, then you got to go to Tennessee. So, do you still have like that same level of hope we had when you're like 3-0 like going into the season now?
I think I still have hope for them. I still think that they can turn it around. Obviously, with them obviously winning those 3 games that they had, they were undefeated, and obviously the three divisional games that they won, which was very key because it could have been something else if they didn't win those games. But I mean, I'm still very confident in them. It just they got to do something with that old line. It just they can't. Herbert can't get hit constantly, and it's just like yeah. But I mean, if you heard like if you're watching the game, Tom Brady says like I'm not gonna like he says Justin Herbert could be one of the best quarterbacks if they protect him. And that's what you saw in the first couple the 3 games that you saw him, especially the game against the Chiefs and the game against the Broncos, those games, like he was making big plays and obviously they were protecting him. But now with this old line that had just been obviously with Rashawn Slater being out for the whole season, the beginning of the before the season even started, and then Micah Becton and all everybody just losing it. It's just like
I mean, even with I guess kind of like the injuries of the O line, I know Justin Herbert, when he's called upon, he kind of can make some plays with his legs, but
he
with
did.
that,
He
yeah,
60 yards.
yeah, yes, he's still capable of doing that. But do you think like that would be like the wisest thing to do, considering like the way the offensive line's going, and now like you guys are kind of like running low and like kind of like running low on the running backs.
I mean, I think it's just gonna have to be
And
kind of.
Jim Harbaugh teams have a big identity of running the ball, so
I mean, they have. That's what I'm saying. They had Vidal and Haskins, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they just kind of throw the ball a little bit more, kind of how they were doing in the beginning of the season, which kind of surprised a lot of us that they were throwing the ball. I think they might have to do that a little bit more. Obviously, they have Keenan Allen, Quinn Johnston, Lad McConkey, um,
I
Conklin,
mean,
the tight
yeah,
end. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But I feel like
yeah.
he's gonna
You
have
have
to
those
throw
guys, but like I also know Quentin Johnson, he did have that fumble in the
fumble.
game
Yeah,
too. So
yeah. But I feel like there's gonna be a point where Justin Herbert's probably gonna have to get rid of the ball as quick as possible because the O line cannot protect it. You saw it against the Giants, and now you saw it against with the Commanders. He has to get rid of the ball as soon as possible, like quick. If not, they're just gonna sack him because that O line can only do so much. Also with all the injuries, and then obviously with Hampton being out, I think it's gonna be tough. And he was rolling. He was rolling these couple of games. So I don't know. But on the other side, Jayden Daniels came back. They look better. They won.
mm,
They beat the Chargers. They look way better. Bill, 2 touchdowns, just easy walk in. Especially literally, it kind of looked like the same play, just on the outside run, and he
yeah,
walked in.
I brought it up last week. They need to dial up more plays for Bill. Gonna have my parlay, but that's different. But that was from last week. But like this week, I think Cliff, you look back at the film and realize, yeah, maybe if you get more plays for him, Bill, then like. that translates into winning. And then like he had
Kind of
over
opens the offense a
120
little bit more.
yards. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It also helps Jayden if he's coming back from a knee injury too. Like he doesn't have to do so much. It just make certain plays when he needs to, and still kind of like let his knee
Yeah.
somewhat heal, not rushing back.
And then the Chargers obviously they don't have Khalil Mack, so which was good for Jayden and also the defense. The O line was able to a lot of protect Jayden Daniels, and especially in those two runs that they kind of, you know how Derwin James is kind of everywhere, and that one I think it was the first or second touchdown that Bill scored. Like they were able to stop, they blocked Derwin James, and he was like I said he was easy to walk in. But I mean, Debo obviously 96 yards receiving, one touchdown. Luke McCaffrey with that bomb, beautiful throw that Jayden Daniels threw, and he just dove in and caught that ball, and I think that led to the field goal, if I'm not mistaken, toward at the end of the
Yeah,
half.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Uh, I think that's what tied the game. But I mean, it looks good defense. Like I said, they picked off Justin Herbert once. I think that one I feel like he kind of rushed it and try to force, he obviously what he's known for, that strong arm and stuff. I think he tried to force it to Keenan Allen, and it was kind of like tipped off, and they were able to get it and picked off. But yeah, the defense looks good. They needed this win because the Dallas won, the Eagles lost. Um, but now they have a game against the Bears um, against Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I know the Bears kind of want that kind of revenge game after what happened last season, that miracle, Hail Mary miracle.
And a lot
The
of people,
Bears,
I think a lot of people also look kind of like see it as a whole what if because there could have been a point in time where like those two quarterbacks could have been playing in opposite cities
yeah,
because they
but
both have because Caleb does have a history with Cliff Kingsbury.
yeah, um, but we'll see. They have the Bears, like I said, they have the Cowboys in Jerry World. Then they go to Arrowhead, so they have two tough road games that they have, and they go to Seattle, they go to Detroit. So they have a very, very tough schedule. So I think this game was very crucial for them to win. But yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, like I said, it was it was tough for me to watch. When, like I said, when
Yeah,
both my teams are playing, it's good because I get to watch them at the same time. But it's bad because it's like I can't really choose for either one. Both teams kind of needed a win. But hey, we'll see. I guess at least I get that nightmare off my back now and just get to enjoy them separately now. So hopefully both of them made the playoffs, and we'll see what happens
no,
there.
I brought up a winless New York team and the Jets who are still 0-5, but there's been a team since last night they hadn't had any losses, but apparently they found one. I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that game kind of
I think
looked
that I
kind
want
of
to say
looked
it was a
boring in the beginning,
shocker. I want to say it was a shocker, but are we talking about? I still think the Bills are pretty much still a good team, but I think a lot of people maybe this is the game to like maybe we should start having a conversation about the Patriots
but you do
or
say,
especially Drake May.
but who did the Bills play? Who have the Bills played? Like I said, they beat the Ravens. Before we knew anything about the Ravens, anything like that, they beat the Ravens. They beat the Jets.
The Jets and the
They
Saints. I see where you're going with this.
they beat the Dolphins. Now, yes, it's a divisional game, so those games are pretty close. So they really haven't beat anybody. Even like I said, before we even saw the Ravens and what the Ravens are now, they really haven't beaten anybody. So this game was kind of like it could go either way. And like I said, divisional games they're really tough, anybody can take in this game. They know each other really well. But I mean, I still like the Bills. Josh Allen, everybody, I like
Yeah, just
them.
like this
But
game, it was very uncharacteristic of the Bills because what made Josh Allen win the MVP was kind of like how he cleaned up his turnovers. Because early in his career, he was talented, but he was also kind of a turnover machine, and now he fixed that. But when we're watching the Bills game, the Patriots are able to like bait him into certain throws that made him turn over the ball, and also I guess their defense kind of came to play. Maybe it was the Steelers game where like they committed so many fumbles. I think maybe Vrabel made it a point of emphasis that like maybe as a defense, maybe like be more aggressive and actually make smarter plays and like not plays that are going to result in penalties.
yeah, a lot of turnovers. Obviously, Ramondre Stevenson with his fumbles again, but he did score.
Also, if you know, like, it's one thing about Vrabel's coaching, but like, if you know anything about Mike Vrabel, like, he's not somebody you want to pick a fight with. But I think he kind of like brought that emphasis to not only the organization he played for, but I think that's also like a key to his like to play for Mike Vrabel. You got to show your toughness. You got to show your
Yeah,
guts, and
yeah,
I think the Patriots finally answered the call.
yeah. And hey, this was a Stefon Diggs revenge game. Obviously, everything that he was in Buffalo, everything that happened in Buffalo, over 100 yards, 10 catches for 146 yards. Man,
That
he had a
from
game.
yeah, I was watching the game like from start to finish. He's leading the pregame chant like from start to finish. He was just locked in. I think he knew the way of the moment. He didn't get in the end zone, but he was definitely he definitely had like the game. I won't say the game of his life, but he definitely stepped up.
I think two back-to-back games over 100 yards. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, they Drake May is I think is a guy. Um, I think Patriots got a guy, and they could be a team that can slip into the playoffs. They're 3-2, but we'll see.
We've already written off the Jets and the Dolphins in the entire division. So I think really it's going to come down to the Patriots and the Bills, and seeing how the Patriots they weren't favored, but they won the game and the Bills lost. So I don't know what their schedule is, but it's a divisional game, and now that can have implications towards how the season ends for both of those teams.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we'll see, man. But before we end this pod, do you have any last words? Any last thoughts for Week 5? Obviously, the Chiefs and Jaguars are playing right now as we speak. But
I think we kind of covered like the key things of Week 5.
yeah, I mean the Lions still are still the Lions offensively, and the Bengals are trash. Even though the score says 37-24, that game was out of reach. For
You still believe the Lions would find a way, even if the Bengals were still competing.
Yeah, Jamar Chase got in the end zone finally, two touchdowns, but still wasn't enough. I mean, Jake Brown, you might as well just put him for throw two picks or interception for sure. That's a lock. Another
I mean,
another three
yeah,
picks. I think they're gonna have to make that call and try and like I said, I think the trade deadline is November 4th or something like that. They have to give a call to either Kirk Cousins or somebody because yeah, Jake
I
Brown
know
ain't the guy.
probably brought it up enough that like the Jets are 0-5, and I don't know if their issue is quarterback and Justin Fields. His numbers they're not bad. He'll still
Oh, he's
make plays
playing
in the
well.
play, but I
Is
don't
it
know.
coaching?
I mean, I'm just
Is it
talking about the
coaching
Jets
Aaron Glenn?
because I'm just talking about the Jets because I think other Jets quarterbacks are kind of making news for other things, but
Oh,
we don't need to
get
necessarily get into all that. But
it. I think he was the last quarterback to win a playoff game, right? If I'm not mistaken. He was the last Jets quarterback to to get a playoff win. So yeah, but we're not gonna get into all that. But yeah, man, we'll be back with another episode. Until then, peace.
goodbye. We'll see you next week, Cleveland.